Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and I'm joined by TLC's little couple, Bill and Jen Klein. They are so inspirational, so incredible, and they have a great new book out, Think Big. This is life changing. They have overcome so much, and they are telling you their stories to help you do the same. Check it out. Hey everyone, it's me, Arthur Kade, and Bill and Jen. I told you guys this last time you were here, and I'm going to tell you it again. You're like my favorite couple ever, and so inspirational, and hence why your second book has me almost in tears. Think Big. All right, first of all, everybody go buy this book because there's inspiring, and then there's you guys, which is like above inspiring. And also, happy 8th anniversary. Why are you spending it with me? Go like, I'm going to like go pay for like a fancy dinner in New York somewhere and go enjoy yourselves. But this book, so much has changed in your lives since the last time I saw you. You're documenting it, and the stuff you overcome is mind-blowing. So tell me what people can expect with this.
Well, I hope actually that people who read it find a lot of commonality. It's just a bunch of stories in our lives that sort of got us through the tough times and helped us to essentially overcome the different obstacles we faced, with optimism. And so I'm hoping that people will read this and think, wow, there are experiences in my own life that I can sort of, pull upon to help me achieve my goals and dreams too.
I love the whole Think Big acronym, by the way. I'm like, it's got to be really tough with 8 letters to come up with the phrases you did. And I'm like, it's just great. So tell me about, the acronym and kind of using this to inspire people.
Well, we broke it up. Think Big. This time around, the book is, pun intended, of course. We want people to think above and beyond, the scope of the physical or what people tell you fit into. And we've broken it down into 8 letters and Think Big. And basically, it starts with T is for try and G is for go for it, and everywhere in between are takeaways from small vignettes, stories from our lives that we learned something from, or that we approached it in a particular way that we've used and employed time and time again to help us get through different circumstances with a more positive attitude.
Life has not been easy the last years. I was just talking about you having cancer, and that's just, yeah. I'm doing a breast cancer event tonight, and I'm thinking to myself, you see so many young people, and you're way too young, and you had to deal with this. And not only did you deal with it, you were just pure bravery through it. There's a story in here that literally almost reduced me to tears, where you come back from India with Zoe. You weren't even supposed to be in human contact, and you still show up in a surgical mask. Yeah. Walk me through this mindset you guys have, because I would be in bed crying and giving up, and that's probably what millions of people do, and yet you just keep battling.
Well, it's not to say that we haven't had those moments, right? I can remember moments through the cancer battle where I was in bed crying late at night, and he was my support mechanism and sort of told me, it's going to be okay. And he was right. And the next day you get up and you just got to say, okay, time for me to get it together and keep fighting. And so, and that story that you brought up, it's just sort of, I think, both of our philosophies in life, no matter what obstacle you're dealing with, you just got to, you got to push through, you know what I mean? And in that situation, I technically immunocompromised. My daughter was on the plane with like 102 fever coming home, and my doctor was like, well, it's not that I can't tell you not to see your own daughter, but it's really not advised. And I'm thinking, okay, I know too much, I don't want to get sick and then make things worse for everybody, so I couldn't help myself though not to see them.
Like, so I'm showing up no matter what.
So I just I was like, okay, I'll take precautions, right? Mask and the hat and the gloves, and I still got to go see them through the window, sadly, but at least I got to see them because they had just got home from India, and I hadn't hardly seen my daughter since we first met her.
Bill, people probably really don't appreciate or understand how tough it can be sometimes. What have been some of the great moments of fans coming up to you and the expressions that they've had, the feedback that they've given you guys in terms of saying, wow, you really changed my life just seeing what you guys have battled and gone through?
I think, the cancer battle, I think, was probably one of the more prominent stories on the show that touched people's lives. Obviously, we're short in stature, and overcoming obstacles is one thing, but when it gets to a level of relatability that's global in scale, which cancer, unfortunately, it is. And when we run into people, we've had we've had moms, whose kids are going through cancer, kids whose parents are going through cancer. We've had people that while we're shopping and my kids are running around the store, we're trying to chase them, and people are on their knees, giving us hugs, crying, bursting into tears of joy that we've somehow inspired them. Which, of course, it's amazing that our show has done that. And at the same time, I'm trying to keep an eye on my children. I can't be, accepting all the accolades and then, my children go off with a bunch of strangers. So,
or tear up the place.
or we want to buy
good is not happening.
Yes.
Needless to say.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing experience, and I'm glad that we've been able to, be a part of other people's lives in a positive way. And I wouldn't change it for the world, even if I have to buy extra stuff at the store because my kids ruin it.
That's the other thing that blows my mind is cameras are rolling the whole time. So the story I just described, you guys had cameras rolling. You're bringing the kids back. You're coming back from India. It's a 24-hour, and I've flown to that part of the world. It is hell, and I can't even imagine going with toddlers. And you have cameras rolling. How difficult can it be sometimes that, hey, we still got a TV show to make, but I'm battling and dealing with real life?
Yeah, it definitely is a little bit of a balancing act, how to sort of, juggle TV plus work plus, major craziness going on in your life, such as, cancer or adoption. But I think we fortunately have a great relationship with the production company, and there is that opportunity to say, hey, we need a break. We need, and I took some time. Actually, we had already planned time after bringing Zoe home for bonding. And so one of the things that we learned with international adoptions, you don't want anybody else around you and your child while they realize and learn that you're not just another caretaker or one of many coming in and out of their lives, but you're mom and dad. And that's actually requires you to sort of shut everybody out and just hunker down. And our production company was really respectful of that. And so sort of that gave me a little bit of time, unfortunately, unpredictably, to deal with the cancer diagnosis. And so then when we sort of came out of our shell, we were ready to, share what was left in that journey, which unfortunately was a lot more than we had hoped, but that's okay. We got through it, and they're like family now, so they helped us get through some of that.
When you look at what your show has become, obviously millions of fans, millions of viewers, you're in reality TV land, in seasons, it's probably like 128 years at this point. Do you now see this as your platform? I mean, is this something where you could do it for 20, 30 years if TLC
Absolutely
would just keep
not.
green lighting?
No.
Or does it start coming to a point where, hey, we want to embrace our private life at some point and kind of get away from this?
I think that there's a happy medium for most of the show's lifetime, and we're probably on the back nine of the show's lifetime, whether it's our choice or the network's, because the kids are starting to get school age where they're going to want to have different relationships with friends, and we can't have television be a focal point that gets in the way at all. And they deserve their privacy and all that fun stuff too. So, we've been continuing to massage how the show's developed while being respectful of our privacy. But at some point, privacy is privacy, and the only way you'll get that is if, you close the door on the cameras. But in the meantime, the platform's been very generous to us. We've been able to show that people with disabilities can achieve and have prosperous lives and happy lives and make families, and so it's been great so far.
Maybe there's ways to sort of meld our experience and what we've enjoyed out of media with our careers more, and who knows what the future could bring. We're just always looking for what makes sense, but putting family first.
Well, the beauty in your situation, you don't depend on the TV show. You're professionals, you're successful, there's life after TV for you guys. So they cut the cord or you cut the cord at any point.
It's okay.
It's like, okay,
Yeah.
back to normal life.
Exactly.
When you look at the legacy of your show, and that's a weird word to say legacy, but there is a legacy to it. What do you want people 5-10 years down the road to say about this show?
I hope that they will, if anyone, comments on our show, I hope they felt that it was something they could be inspired by, that's something that they could relate to, and ultimately something positive out there. That's what I'm hoping for it.
He's like, I agree.
Well, that's
He's
always
like, I
a
hope they
smart
don't
answer.
hate me.
Yeah, no. 8 years of marriage. Agreeing with your wife is probably a good idea from the get-go. But I would say that if we're able to enter and exit reality TV and have a positive message that we're able to convey and not end in a ball of flames.
That's definitely a goal.
That's priority number one.
the goal.
When
Yes.
did this book become a kernel in your minds? When did you say, hey, we need to document the experiences of the last few years and show people our mindset and optimism and hope? When did this come into play?
Well,
We've been doing a speech. Jennifer's
yeah.
been doing a speech for quite some time to inspire audiences at both at the medical level, in healthcare, and then of course, since the television program on an inspirational platform as well. And you only get so much time to talk in front of an audience. You might get 45 minutes, but obviously a book is a lot more detailed. So we thought, why not expand on the topic and see if we can't make it a little bit more concrete and a little less, of a, can I cram it into 45 minutes in a speech?
yeah.
Is it tough being professional, by the way, when you're on television? I mean, because again, you're not a real housewife here.
No,
Your
no.
job isn't to just like throw a chair at somebody. I mean, you're a successful medical professional, but you're on a hit TV show. How's that balancing act? I mean, are you in the hospital and people are like, I know that's her, it's her. Like, what is it like?
Yep.
Yes.
gawk?
Well, sometimes I take a lot of pictures. I actually, it's actually kind of humbling yet rewarding. I have a lot of kids that are fans of the show, and they could be in any part of the hospital, and they contact me and they ask to meet me. And so I mean, literally just last week I visited a little girl who had, major serious surgery, and her parents said to me, they're like, she hasn't smiled all week until now, and you just totally brightened her day. And I mean, and that's not me as her doctor, but that's just a social visit. And it's definitely humbling. It's definitely a weird mix to mix your professional life and your sort of TV life. But I think the key so far I've been, trying to maintain is that, I don't do anything stupid on television so that they don't be
ruin my career.
Yes, exactly. Key number one. And, the other thing is just really to try and make it work for both. So, try and take this opportunity with television to promote things that are good for health or awareness. Obviously we started off trying to raise awareness for people with disabilities, but then, we've had the opportunity to raise awareness for cancer or children's health care issues. It may be here or there, but we try and make both worlds kind of meet in the middle somehow. And for the most part, it works.
It's hard to say that having something like cancer or disability is a blessing, because you can't really say it's a blessing, but it can be a blessing because you can help people.
Yeah.
What's the mindset you guys take with it? Is it some form of a blessing where it's given you the ability to actually change people's lives? How do you look at it?
I don't know. I think we
Interesting.
both have
Yeah.
the same approach, which is, you don't get to choose
Yeah.
the circumstances that you have to live through, but you get to choose how you approach it. And we choose to approach it with optimism. We choose to, be happy when we wake up in the morning. Of course we know that we're 4 feet tall and that, we have hip replacements and we've gone through cancer and we have 2 kids that are from different countries that are still acclimating to their new environment. And, but we do it with a smile. And, we are anxious to see how things continue to turn out. So I think that's, you do the best with the cards you're dealt. And I think everybody's in that circumstance.
And appreciate the good things that we do have. Not to say that, everybody's got challenges. We all have obstacles that we're facing every day. And so it's a matter of saying, okay, well, that may be horrible. There's so many other good things in my life, and to appreciate what you have that's going on that's good for you, so that you're not miserable every day. Because I people always ask me, how are you smiling all the time and always so happy? And it's not that I'm always happy and always smiling, but the majority of my time I'd like to be happy, because what's the alternative? No one else is going to suffer more than me if I spend every day wallowing in sorrow.
Have there ever been moments, like I find myself being so ungrateful? So I go to church every Sunday and I'll sit there and I'll say to myself, was I really worrying about this, or was I ungrateful, or why didn't I pay attention and smell the roses about this? Are there ever moments you meet people and you just want to literally I don't know, throw them through a wall and be like, guys, wake up and be grateful? Do you have those moments?
Well,
I'm sure everybody
She's like,
does.
every day.
well, but for us too. I
Yeah,
think
for us too.
we go through that same
Yep.
circumstance. We are fallible like everybody else, and you get into a situation where you become expectant, or you not entitled,
Comfortable.
but you become very comfortable, complacent, and that's not a good place to be. And so we have to slap each other around every once in a while, remind
Yes.
each other that hey, this is really really good what we have going on here, and
We should take a minute to be
Appreciate it.
yes, exactly. Not to be stressed about the next paper that I have due or this project for work, and just take a minute to be like, okay, we have a lot of things to be
another television
thankful
interview,
for.
another book we have to.
You're like, how horrible. Like we were joking, you're like, I have to go to Long Island tonight. Awful.
Yeah, the car service is going to take us out there and make sure we're fed while we're waiting in traffic.
Yeah, we really have a lot to be grateful for. Is the point?
It's not that bad, and
Yeah.
I think we're constantly in that spot, where you need to remind yourself of all the good things that you have going for you.
Yeah.
When you get the cancer diagnosis, what is the first thing that goes through your head?
Well, it's funny. When I got the diagnosis, I thought about thinking to myself, why me? But then I really realized, well, why not me? It's like, it's sort of like, why, it was almost, I don't know if irony was the word, but it was like, really, this is happening now? But that's okay, because I was ready to, meet it head on. I guess I was relieved to know that I had a cancer that was, readily treatable. So, I think I just kind of hung on to that and said, okay, we're good. I'm not going to be that 5% that doesn't, have a good outcome. I'm going to, or 15% or whatever that number was. I've already blocked it out of my mind. See, but,
awesome.
but,
Awesome.
but you have to sort of like, I basically went into, what I like to say, like work mode. I said, okay, what do we have to do to treat it? Started reading about it, talking to the doctor, and let's get that chemo, let's get that PICC line in, let's get started. No time to waste. So you got to kind of go into, I don't know what the word is, power mode, to just say, I got to tackle this, and that's the only choice and all I can focus on right now before I get all sad and depressed. Not time for that yet.
You guys are freaking awesome. I can't say it enough. If this doesn't make you want to buy this freaking book, then nothing will. Guys, congratulations.
Thanks.
This
Thank
is
you.
this is so freaking great. I can't say freaking enough, because it really is. Your story is great, your mindset is great, and I look at myself, I'm like a 37-year-old guy, and I'm like, I wish I had half the optimism that you guys do. Not just like 80% of it. I mean, I would be happy with 50%. I would be a different person. So to tackle life the way you guys have tackled it is truly inspiring and remarkable, and just keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome stuff.
Thank you for
Thanks for having us.
Always happy to have you guys. I think big.